Hello, brothers, and welcome to Sigma Old Man Channel. The quietest man in the room is often the one watching everything burn with a smile. You've probably seen it. A man who looks like he could rewrite history with his silence. Suddenly freezes when a beautiful woman walks by. No words, no slick lines, just stillness. And you're left wondering, wait, is he shy? Or calculating how to escape without making eye contact? Here's a fact that might surprise you. Studies show men who are deeply introspective often appear socially withdrawn, but are actually mentally sharper and more emotionally self-controlled than extroverts. Translation: Sigma males aren't shy. They're just too smart to waste energy on things that don't pass their internal filter. But to the outside world, they look awkward, cold, sometimes even intimidated. Spoiler alert, they're not. They're just busy doing psychological x-rays while you're trying to flirt. So buckle up, because what looks like shyness is often something way more fascinating, deeply wired, and yes, slightly savage. Let's break down the real reasons Sigma males go quiet around women. And trust me, it's not what you've been told. Number one, they're calculating your long-term risk factor, not your lip gloss. When a Sigma male gets quiet around a woman, it's not because he's nervous or lacks confidence, it's because he's scanning her like a human lie detector. While most guys are focused on flirting or impressing, the Sigma is running a full risk analysis. He's not interested in how good you look in that dress. He's trying to figure out what lies behind your smile. Is this someone who brings peace or someone who drains energy? Is she emotionally stable or a ticking time bomb disguised as a beauty queen? He's not being shy, he's being strategic. Sigma males don't fall for surface-level charm. They know how easy it is for people to look good on the outside and still be a walking disaster on the inside. That pause you think is hesitation, that's actually a high-level scan for red flags. He's checking if you interrupt people, how you treat the waitress, if your humor is just passive aggression in disguise. He notices your word choices, your eye movements, your energy, even the silence between your words. He's not calculating pickup lines, he's calculating risk exposure. This is why Sigma males come off shy to people who don't understand them. They're not socially awkward, they're socially selective. They treat every interaction like a chessboard, not a speed date. He knows that one wrong connection can lead to chaos, drama, manipulation, wasted time, emotional blackmail. So instead of jumping in head first like most men, he pulls back, observes, analyzes, measures everything. And if he sees even a hint of instability, he's gone before you even realize what happened. The truth is, a Sigma's silence is louder than most people's full conversations. He doesn't need to talk to dominate a room. His energy already does that. So when he goes quiet around a woman, it's not because he's intimidated, it's because he's dissecting her patterns like a surgeon. He's not looking for a fling, he's scanning for a liability. And if the math doesn't add up, he'll retreat into his quiet world without ever saying a word. Not shy, just smart. And in a world full of chaos dressed as chemistry, that's the kind of silence that speaks volumes. Number two, they've already imagined the breakup. When a Sigma male locks eyes with a woman, he doesn't just see what's in front of him, he sees the whole possible future. While most men are still wondering what her name is or how to ask for her number, the Sigma is already in the mental war room, playing out every scenario. He's already fast-forwarded the tape, past the first date, the texting phase, the chemistry highs, straight to the crash landing. Emotional incompatibility, control issues, messy communication, hidden trauma, value mismatches. He's seen it all in his mind before he even opens his mouth. This isn't some overly dramatic fear of love. It's his natural wiring. Sigmas are deeply introspective and strategic, and their brains are built for pattern recognition. If he's been burned once, he won't let it happen again without dissecting every possible route to failure. That long pause before he says hi. That's him mentally watching how it could all go sideways. The arguments, the disappointment, the slow decay of mutual respect. And if the ending looks ugly, he won't start the story at all. This makes Sigma males look like commitment phobes or emotionally distant. But the truth is, they're just highly cautious about what they let into their inner world. They've seen what a toxic relationship can do, how it can drain energy, cloud focus, and distract from purpose. He's not avoiding love, he's avoiding emotional landmines dressed in perfume. It's not shyness, it's defense, calculated, ruthless, quiet. And here's the kicker. Even if you seem perfect, he's still not convinced. Perfection can be a mask too. He's not falling for the early spark. He's checking if the flame turns into wildfire or just burns out. That's why he stalls, goes silent, or retreats when he feels attraction. He's not afraid to talk. He's afraid to invest in something that's already showing cracks in the foundation. So when a Sigma male hesitates, it's not because he doesn't like you. It's because he already sees how the story could end, and he's deciding whether the ending is worth the beginning. Number 3, they're checking for the mask behind the makeup. When a Sigma male looks at a woman, he's not hypnotized by her smile or swayed by how confident she sounds. He's looking for the cracks, not in her face, in her mask. Because that's what most people wear, especially in early interactions. Curated personalities, pre-approved jokes, polished stories, and expressions practiced in front of mirrors. But Sigmas don't fall for the act. They watch for the slip-ups, the flicker in your eyes when you lie, the half-second delay when you pretend to care, the forced laughter that doesn't match your eyes. He catches those. To a Sigma, what you're not saying is often 10 times more revealing than what you are. He reads subtext like a second language. The way you deflect deep questions, how you correct yourself mid-sentence, how your tone drops slightly when a certain topic comes up, all of that is data. He's not flirting with you, he's studying you. Not to manipulate, but to understand what you're hiding under the performance. Because everyone performs, especially in the dating arena. He knows that people can be warm on the outside but cold on the inside. That kindness can be a tactic and confidence can be a costume. So he doesn't take anything at face value. Compliments don't impress him. Flattery makes him more suspicious. And charm, that's the biggest red flag of all, because he knows that real connection doesn't need to be sparkly. It needs to be real. And if all he sees is surface shine, he knows there's probably a mess buried just below it. This is why Sigma males seem reserved or disconnected. They're not disinterested, they're decoding. And if your words and energy don't match up, he clocks it immediately. He knows the mask always slips eventually. His job is to catch it before it does. That way, he doesn't waste time giving genuine energy to someone who's just performing a version of themselves. So if he looks like he's zoning out while you talk, he's not bored. He's just listening on a frequency you don't know you're broadcasting. Number 4, they don't want to be another story to tell. There's a certain type of woman who doesn't date for connection. She dates for content. Every encounter, every awkward moment, every failed talking stage becomes entertainment for her group chat or brunch crew. She's not really looking for something meaningful. She's looking for another story to tell. And Sigma males, they can sense that from a mile away. Their silence isn't shyness. It's self-preservation. Sigma men value privacy like oxygen. They don't open up easily, and when they do, it's not for public consumption. So when they meet someone who seems more interested in having a funny story than a real moment, they shut down immediately. Not because they're scared, but because they refuse to be reduced to a punchline in someone else's social highlight reel. They know how quickly a thoughtful conversation can be twisted into, "He said the weirdest thing," or how one vulnerable moment becomes, "You won't believe what this guy told me." Most men would play along just to get attention or affection, not Sigmas. If they sense even a hint that you're more focused on how the interaction looks than what it means, they'll hit the mental eject button. They've spent too much time building themselves to let someone turn them into gossip fuel. That moment when he goes quiet, glances away, or becomes mysteriously busy after the first conversation. That's not him ghosting, that's him dodging the spotlight of your next casual roast session. And it's not that Sigma males can't laugh at themselves. They're just not interested in being a supporting character in someone else's personal comedy special. If he's going to share his time, his energy, his insight, it better be with someone who knows the value of it, not someone looking to collect stories the way others collect shoes. So yes, he may have found you attractive, yes, he may have even wanted to talk. But once he smelled that just here for the story energy, he chose silence. Because Sigma males don't care about being liked, they care about being understood, and if you're not here for that, he won't give you anything worth talking about. Number 5, they don't want to be seen as another guy who wants you. Sigma males don't chase, not because they think they're better than everyone else, but because they refuse to be categorized. The moment a woman might lump him in with the countless men who orbit her for attention, he's out. Not gradually, not politely. He's mentally packed his bags and deleted the scene from his memory. It's not rejection, it's rejection of the category. He doesn't want to be seen as another face in the lineup of guys who want me. That alone is enough to make him back off, even if he was genuinely interested. The modern dating scene is overcrowded with desperation. Comment sections filled with simps, DMs bloated with compliments, dating apps turning real people into digital trophies. Sigma males see all of it and recoil. They know that the more a man chases, the less he's valued. So they do the opposite. They withhold, not to manipulate, but to maintain dignity. To him, self-respect is more attractive than any interaction that risks making him look thirsty or common. He doesn't want to be the guy who walks up and flirts just because you're pretty. He wants to be the guy who only engages if there's depth, alignment, something real. And if he suspects you're used to being pursued, if you carry that look that says, I know you want me, he'll stay silent on purpose. Just to make it clear he's not like them, not trying to impress, not here for crumbs of attention, not hoping to win you like a prize. This is why Sigma males are so confusing to women who are used to being chased. He sees you, he may even admire you, but the second he feels you expect pursuit, he pulls back, not because he's insecure, but because he refuses to audition. He'd rather miss the opportunity than lose his edge. That moment of shyness isn't shyness at all. It's him guarding his position, protecting his individuality, and walking away from anything that smells like ego validation. He's not another guy who wants you. He's the guy who doesn't want to be another guy, period. Number 6, he's already sensed if you're a chaos magnet. Sigma males don't need time to figure people out. They're wired to sense energy shifts like a human tuning fork. The moment you speak, the way you carry yourself, even a single sarcastic comment laced with bitterness, it's all data. And if it smells like unresolved drama, emotional instability, or attention-seeking chaos, the Sigma doesn't argue, doesn't question, doesn't wait. He just vanishes, no warning, no let's talk about it, just gone, not because he's cold, but because he's trained to protect his peace like it's sacred. He's not judging you for being human. Everyone's got a little mess, but Sigmas can tell the difference between someone who's healing and someone who is the storm. And he wants no part of emotional hurricanes disguised as hot takes and just being honest energy. That passive-aggressive joke you thought was clever? He clocked the underlying resentment. That eye roll when the conversation didn't go your way, he saw the control issue. That subtle flex of always needing to be right. He knows how that movie ends. And he doesn't stick around for the drama. What most people mistake for shyness is actually him doing real-time risk management. He's been around enough emotionally volatile people to know how fast things can spiral when the wrong person gets too close. And he's not going to waste 5 dates trying to convince himself you're stable when your energy already told him otherwise in the first 5 minutes. The Sigma male doesn't run from chaos because he's weak. He avoids it because he's strong enough to walk away early. He's not here to fix people, manage their moods, or be someone's emotional punching bag wrapped in romance. His silence isn't indecision, it's clarity. It's him choosing solitude over confusion, peace over passion that comes with a warning label. So when he suddenly withdraws, don't take it personally, or do. Either way, he already decided. He felt the storm behind the smile, and instead of dancing in the rain, he chose to close the door, lock it, and keep his world calm. Because for the Sigma, chaos isn't exciting. It's a red flag with flashing lights and sirens, and he doesn't stick around to watch the explosion. Number 7, they see flirting as a baited hook. Flirting to a Sigma male often feels like a rigged game, one where the smile isn't just a smile, it's a trap with velvet edges. He doesn't see light teasing or seductive glances as signs of genuine interest. What he sees is strategy, power play, manipulation wrapped in sugar. To him, it's less about connection and more about control. Who can get who to chase, who can hold the upper hand? And if he even suspects that your charm comes with strings, expectations, or emotional price tags, he's out, fast, quiet, no warning. It's not that he doesn't recognize beauty or isn't drawn to magnetic energy. He absolutely is. But he also knows the difference between natural chemistry and weaponized seduction. When flirting feels too calculated, too performative, or too rehearsed, he knows it's not about getting to know him. It's about getting something from him. Attention, validation, power, ego boost. And Sigma males don't offer any of those things on demand. They've seen how the game works. Smile, compliment, retreat. To make him chase. touch his arm, praise him, then ignore his message, just to test how interested he is. These little manipulative dance steps are obvious to a Sigma, and frankly, they bore him, because he's not looking to win at social games, he's looking for authenticity. If the interaction starts to feel like bait instead of real connection, he'll go cold. Not because he's shy or socially clueless, but because he knows his time, energy, and mental clarity are more valuable than chasing someone else's attention high. This is why Sigmas often confuse women who are used to men taking the bait. She flirts, he doesn't bite, and suddenly she's questioning her whole approach. It's not that he didn't notice her, it's that he saw through the script and didn't want a role in a play. He doesn't respond to charm that's being used as leverage. He doesn't react to being toyed with like a prize to be won. If you want a Sigma's attention, sincerity is the only currency that works. Anything else, he sees it as a hook, and he'd rather stay free than fall for the bait. Number 8, he's observing the performance you think is natural. When a Sigma male watches you speak, he's not just listening to what you say. He's decoding the layers underneath. You might think you're being totally natural, just being yourself, but to him, it's a performance. Not necessarily in a fake or malicious way, more like a social costume you've worn so long you've forgotten it's not your skin. The carefully timed laughter, the way you adjust your posture, the polished stories designed to impress. He sees it all and he files it under curated identity. This is the problem with being highly perceptive in a world obsessed with presentation. Sigma males see through the filters. While others are dazzled by charm, he's paying attention to what you're avoiding, the topics you sidestep, the fake humility disguised as confidence. He notices the little switches in your tone when you shift from honest to performative. That shy silence you think means he's intimidated, that's him watching you act and deciding whether it's worth digging for the real version underneath. He knows most people, especially in early interactions, aren't showing up as their true selves. They're showing what they think will be accepted, the safest version. And that's fine for surface-level connections. But Sigmas don't do surface. They don't want the highlight reel. They want the raw file. If all you're offering is the polished version of you with your flaws hidden under layers of social training, he's not buying it. In fact, the more put together you seem, the more skeptical he becomes. To him, authenticity isn't in what you say, it's in what leaks out when you stop trying to be impressive. If that moment never comes, he goes quiet, withdraws. Not out of insecurity, but because he refuses to bond with a character. He doesn't want your presentation. He wants your patterns, the real you, even if it's messy, especially if it's messy and honest. So that intense, unreadable gaze, that's not awkwardness. That's him quietly calling BS on the social mask you didn't even know you were wearing. And if he never circles back, it's because he decided the person behind the performance was never going to show up. Number 9. They've outgrown the idea that all connection is good. Sigma males aren't addicted to connection the way most people are. They've outgrown the idea that every spark needs to be chased, that every moment of chemistry deserves attention, or that all relationships are growth opportunities. That's rookie thinking to them, the kind that gets people entangled in emotional disasters they could have dodged if they were just a little more honest with themselves. Sigmas don't move like that anymore. They've learned the hard way. Not every vibe is a green light. Some are just well-disguised red flags with great eye contact. To most people, attention feels like validation. Connection feels like progress. But Sigmas know that some of the most intense connections are actually warning signs wrapped in passion, that feeling you call chemistry. They've seen it turn into obsession, codependency, manipulation, or full-on chaos. So they don't lean in when they feel it, they pause. They ask themselves, does this feel right, or does it just feel familiar? Because they know some people don't spark warmth, they spark wildfires. This is why people misread Sigma males as shy, cold, or overly cautious. When a woman shows interest or flirtatious energy, most men get excited. Sigma men get analytical. If the connection feels too fast, too hot, or too dramatic too soon, he pulls away. Not because he's afraid, but because he's experienced enough to know how the story ends. He's not going to stick around to see the meltdown when he already knows the signs. He also doesn't chase attention for the ego boost. In a world where everyone's performing for likes, comments, and validation, a Sigma's silence is the loudest refusal of all. He doesn't want to be liked by everyone. He doesn't need approval to function. And he definitely doesn't see connection as inherently good just because it's mutual. If he backs off from you after a spark, it's not because he didn't feel it. It's because he did and he didn't like where it was headed. That shy exit is actually him exercising one of his most powerful traits, restraint. Because sometimes the smartest move isn't pursuing a connection, it's avoiding the storm you already saw coming. Number 10, they have no interest in impressing you. Sigma males have zero interest in putting on a show to earn someone's attention, let alone their approval. If you expect to be dazzled before you even decide whether they're worth your time, they'll clock it instantly and vanish just as fast. It's not arrogance, it's refusal. They refuse to reduce themselves to performers just to make someone else feel entertained or desired. In their world, charm without depth is just noise, and impressing you isn't the mission. Being real is. They don't care how many other guys tried to win you over with flattery, money, or smooth lines. That's not their lane. In fact, if you're the type who responds to status or flashiness, they'll pull back even harder. Not because they're intimidated, but because they find that whole game exhausting and hollow. Sigma males want to be respected for who they actually are, not the curated version they could pretend to be to win favor. And if respect requires theatrics, then it's not real respect in their book. It's just attention disguised as admiration. This is why they seem standoffish around women who expect immediate engagement. They're not shy. They're testing whether your respect comes from substance or stimulation. If you need them to flex, show off, or entertain you before you even value their presence, that's already a no for them. They'll disengage, not with drama, but with quiet, surgical precision. To a Sigma male, real connection starts with being seen without effort. If he has to earn your basic regard through tricks and tactics, then the foundation is broken from the start. He's not antisocial, he's anti-bullshit. So when he holds back in a conversation, when he doesn't try to wow you, when he lets the silence hang without scrambling to fill it, that's not him failing to impress. That's him refusing to try. Because if you can't respect the unfiltered version of him, you were never worth the effort in the first place. Number 11, their standards are brutally high and non-negotiable. Sigma males don't date to explore. They date to align. There's no let's just see where it goes mindset. If you don't check certain core boxes from the start, they're not sticking around to find out if chemistry can make up for it. Their standards are brutal, yes, but they're not built on fantasy. They're built on self-awareness. They know exactly what they bring to the table, and they won't lower the bar just to avoid being alone. Being alone is default mode. Being with the wrong person, that's what they actually fear, not solitude, but dilution. When most people say they have standards, what they really mean is preferences they're willing to bend when emotions get involved, not Sigmas. If you don't align with his core values, if you can't keep up intellectually, if your energy feels chaotic or shallow, he won't try to make it work. He won't fake interest to be polite. He won't entertain you just because you're attractive or available. He'll simply disappear, respectfully but without warning. No drama, no explanation, just a clean exit. That behavior often gets misread as cold or even arrogant, but it's really about precision. Sigmas don't collect people. They curate their circle like an art gallery. Only the rarest, most authentic pieces are allowed in. Not because they think they're better, but because they know how costly the wrong emotional investment can be. They've seen what happens when standards are compromised. Energy drained, purpose distracted, peace shattered. Once was enough. And here's the part most people miss. They don't just hold others to those standards. They hold themselves to them too. That's why they don't settle. They're constantly refining not just their goals, but their environment. So if you're not a match, they won't argue about it, they won't try to convince you. And they definitely won't apologize for having high expectations. They'll just leave quietly, completely. It's not rejection rooted in fear, it's rejection based on clarity. He's not ghosting you out of cowardice, he's filtering out what doesn't align before it becomes a problem. And if you didn't make the cut, it wasn't personal, it was precise. Number 12. He doesn't fear rejection, he fears wasted time. Sigma males aren't afraid of rejection. They're afraid of wasting their time on something meaningless. There's a huge difference. While most people hesitate to approach someone because they're scared of being turned down, The Sigma hesitates because he's not sure the connection is even worth making in the first place. His quietness, his pause, his so-called shyness, that's not nerves, that's calculation. That's him asking himself, is this going to drain me or grow me? If he can't see the potential for depth, he's already checked out, even if he hasn't walked away yet. He's not here to chase or entertain or impress for the sake of a dopamine hit. He's not interested in racking up conversations, phone numbers, or shallow flirtations. To a Sigma, every interaction is an investment, and he expects a return in honesty, insight, or alignment. If the vibe feels surface level, scripted, or emotionally empty, he won't even bother trying. Because to him, rejection isn't the enemy. Pointless engagement is. That's why some people mistake him for timid or socially awkward. But what's really happening is he's scanning for signal through all the noise. He doesn't want your attention if it's wrapped in ego, games, or performance. He wants realness, and if it's not present, he won't waste time unwrapping the package just to find nothing inside. When he goes silent mid-interaction or gives minimal responses, it's not because he doesn't know what to say. It's because he doesn't see the point in saying it. If you're just talking to be heard, he won't compete with that. If you're just flirting to be flattered, he'll pass. And if he senses that you view the interaction as a transaction, one where charm equals reward, he's already mentally moved on to something more valuable. So no, he's not scared of a no. What he's scared of is spending energy on someone who never had the capacity to meet him where he lives. Mentally sharp, emotionally grounded, and spiritually unbothered. That shy behavior, it's not a lack of courage, it's a ruthless sense of priority. Sigma males aren't shy. They're strategic, selective, and deeply uninterested in playing roles that society expects from men. What most people misread as hesitation or social awkwardness is actually something far more calculated. A refusal to waste energy, emotion, or authenticity on interactions that don't meet their high standards. They're not afraid of women. They're allergic to superficiality, manipulation, and emotional laziness. They've seen what happens when charm replaces depth, when attraction becomes a game, and when connection is treated like currency. And instead of participating in that chaos, they opt out, silently, intelligently, unapologetically. Every pause, every unreadable stare, every quiet retreat isn't a sign of weakness. It's a move made with precision. Sigmas are scanning for substance, for alignment, for truth beneath the surface. If they go silent, they've already decided. If they withdraw, it means they've already done the math, and the emotional cost wasn't worth the return. That's not shyness. That's self-respect. So the next time you see a Sigma male who seems reserved around women, don't mistake it for fear or lack of confidence. He's not confused. He's just not interested in being another name on your list, another ego boost, or another casualty of meaningless flirtation. He's not playing hard to get. He's just not playing at all. And in a world full of noise, that kind of silence speaks louder than anything else. If you found this insight refreshing, raw, and brutally real, make sure to subscribe, like, and drop a comment below about which point hit hardest. Share this with someone who always says, he's just shy, but clearly has no idea. And remember, some men don't speak much because they're calculating the truth while the rest are still rehearsing the lie. Stay sharp, stay real, and we'll see you in the next one. If this video just peeled back the layers on Sigma males in a way you've never heard before, then don't just click away like it's another random scroll. Hit that subscribe button and join a tribe that actually gets it. No fluff, no clichés, just raw, intelligent, high-level truth every single time. Smash the like button if you're tired of surface-level content and ready for insights that actually make sense. Drop a comment below and let us know which point hit you the hardest, or better yet, which point explains someone you know to a scary degree. And if you've got friends stuck calling every quiet guy just shy, share this video with them. Do humanity a favor. More content like this is on the way. Sharper, deeper, bolder. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Don't miss what's coming next, because trust me, it only gets better from here.